Hey, what is going on there, guys? This is Jackson Worley, and you're watching Bingo Productions. This is my custom Lego War of the Spark collection, and I wanted, before I started taking this stuff apart, I wanted to make a quick video. I know I kind of missed the hype on all this stuff. I know War of the Spark isn't too hot on everyone's minds right now. It was a few years ago, but I actually missed the whole thing because I was doing missionary work in Malaysia and Singapore at the time, and that was an absolutely incredible experience. But it meant that I had to miss out on War of the Spark. So I caught myself up on all the lore and story and everything afterwards, after the fact. So um, yeah, this is my Lego War of the Spark collection. First off, I'd like to showcase this is Jace, obviously. When I can, I try and avoid marking up pieces with Sharpie and paint. Sometimes I do because I think it's particularly important to do so, or because I already had it marked up from previous custom figures. But recently I've been trying not to do that and just use traditional Lego pieces rather than marking them up with Sharpie or paint or anything. So, as you can see, I didn't have a blue cape, so I just made my own custom cape, but everything else comes from Lego parts there, just from regular Lego parts for Jace. Chandra, similar story. Um, Chandra's got her fire there in her hands and her fire hair there as well. I didn't really like the mane on a Johnny here, but it's actually the best I could come up with just with my own Lego collection. I did have him in a white cape for a while, but then I gave the white cape back to Elspeth, who it was originally on. But here is Johnny, and there's the design. As you can see there, it just uses those 5 pieces for the double-edged axe that Johnny's got going on there. Moving over, we've got Dak Faden, and I know he's a lot of people's favorite. I know a lot of people really like Dak Faden. Sad to see him go in the story, spoiler alert. Here's Gideon Jorah. Kithian Eora, as some would call him. But very, very simple build on Gideon there. Teferi would have a less menacing face if I had another black skin color, this dark brown that they use on this Lego piece. I have very few of because there has been very few of them. So that's why he looks so angry, but beggars cannot be choosers. Anyway, there's Teferi. And then over here we have Nissa. I actually am not a fan of Nissa as a character. I think she's used to be pretty in-depth. She used to be a deep character, had a character flaw of racism that I thought added to her character. But recently she's just been pretty hippie, which is cool, but it makes her so much more basic, I think. And she's just your typical basic elf, nothing special about her anymore. And really the reason I don't like her as much is because she replaced Garuk. In the main, they used to have kind of the main 5 Planeswalker colors. I was kind of upset when they started replacing Gideon with Ajani, but Gideon's cool enough that I didn't mind it as much. I really liked Garuk, and I was pretty disappointed when they started after Garuk got cursed and we started to not hear much about him, and he was replaced, I guess, with Nissa. I wasn't a big fan of that, and so it kind of made me start resenting Nissa unintentionally. As So you can see on this Garuk character, he's got that big old axe, and I added some extra pieces on the bottom for his feet. Moving along, we've got Sauron. This is one of the better figures, I think. I actually looked for online references of what we could do for him and kind of pieced together what we have here for this Sauron. Years and years ago, I did pop a couple of holes in the side of this cape to use it as a trench coat that I actually used for Emperor Palpatine's cloak. I just thought that added to his character a little better, but as you can see, I'm using it currently on Sauron. Right behind Sauron, we have the Wanderer, who was kind of an interesting build. I didn't have a whole lot of the pieces for her, so we get that. We don't know much about the Wanderer, so I can't really say much about her. Moving along, here we've got Angrath, and I didn't have a Minotaur head, so I kind of had to build my own based off of the one that that was, you know, way back in the day in those mini games. The Lego had these games that they made, and that Minotaur head is similar to the one that comes in the Minotaurus game. Here we've got Ralzeric. A pretty simple build on Ralzeric. Here, I'll do that so you focus in on him. And then we will have Vivian Reed over here. Really great character there. I like great card as well. I like Vivian. Then back here is probably my favorite Planeswalker of all time, Elspeth. She was not in War of the Spark, so we won't spend too much time on this character, but I built this character quite a while ago, and around the time of Theros Beyond Death, I believe it is, shortly after there is when those sets came out. These figures all came into being, and therefore we have an Ashiok figure. If you can see that, I actually used black Sharpie and, sorry, this is so hard to see. I used black Sharpie and cotton ball to get the mist effect on Ashiok, which used to look really good. Still does look pretty good, but kind of hard to have a figure with a faceless figure in Lego. So there is Ashiok. And then last of these Planeswalkers, we have Sarkhan Vol. Sarkhan Vol, I guess we would call him. Anyway, that is the Gate Crash and the Gate Watch, and a bunch of other Planeswalkers. And then moving along here, we've got the Dread Horde. And the Dread Horde are the eternal soldiers that come from the land of Amonkhet that were eternalized for the use of Nicole Bolas to kind of take over. As you can see, there's a general guy up at the front, but yeah, there is 100 of these guys. You can see 20 here with the sword. You can see 20 here with this kind of spear, and then 40 of them with that kind of spearhead in the back, which I thought kind of resembled Nicol Bolas's horns slightly, so we went with that. Anyway, so there's 100 of these eternal soldiers, and then back here we have, I believe this is Kefnet, who is God Eternal Kefnet, having been turned by Nicol Bolas. And then Oketra and her bow, Oketra there, and we have Fetch, I forget his name. The snake one. Ronas. We have Ronas here. God Eternal Ronas. And then over here we have Bantu. And I think Bantu's head was kind of the worst of these figures. But it's supposed to be a crocodile, but you know, it's as good as it's gonna get, I think. And then Tessaret is not featured here because Tessaret was back on the plane of Amonkhet, and it is her spear that actually ended up, spoiler alert, killing Nicole Bolas, or weakening him. But anyway, there's the Eternal Army. The massive Eternal Army that comes through the interplanar portal. Then over here we've got Tessaret, who is kind of the interplanar portal in and of his self. And he's over here on this big citadel for Bolas. And then we have Dobin Bon over there next to the Immortal Sun. The Immortal Sun is what Nicole Bolas uses to trap all the planeswalkers on Ravnica. That's kind of fun there. Then we have one of my favorite planeswalkers of all time, Liliana Vest, and if I had some gold paint, I would cover up the star from Wonder Woman's crown, but it's the only hairpiece I had that was black hair with a crown. I actually ordered this piece specifically for this figure, so anyway, not too bad. Could have been better, but kind of on a budget here. And so we have these stairs I smoothed out just to make it a little more aesthetically appealing. And then up here we have none other than Nicole Bolas himself. And there's not much online. There was a couple videos I saw of people trying to make Nicole Bolas in Lego, and this is mostly custom design. I did steal the horns from someone online, but the head is my own custom, as well as the rest of the figure. So, we can see Nicole Bolas back here, and I'll lift his tail out so we can see his big, long, nasty tail. But anyway, he's very prideful, and he looks down upon all of his workers, his little worker ants, ants as he refers to them. But yeah, that is my, his tail fell off, but that's okay. That is my War of the Spark collection in Lego.